line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to PTM Racing TV, now live here in Darlington, South Carolina, at Darlington Raceway. The track that is nicknamed Too Tough to Tame now meets the cars that are supposedly too tough to race. Which one of these drivers will be able to come out on top here with the elusive field as the points goes further into the series? We shall find out here in just a brief moment. Hi, got our own eye, the Crusader, the Christian Shriver, on the call with you guys here today as we present to you live here from Darlington Raceway. This is the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series, and tonight we're about to present to you their next race and their long lineup of battles here on the show. We'll start them up on the pole here. We'll get them going. Neil Quick will be in the number 2 to his outside. It'll be Aaron Smith, the reigning defending champion, in the number 1. Row number 2 is Brian McCann. The 3 is outside. Cody Harger in the 66. Row number 3, Brendan Medford. Pilots the 83 to his outside. Doug Wysocki in the 34. Row number 4, Tim Schofield in the 12 to his outside. That'll be David E. Brown in the 7. Row number 5, Kyle Pengraff there in the 14's outside. Vincent Short in the 15. Row number 6 is Chris Wally in the 5's outside. David Tremblay in the 96. Row number 7, that's going to be piloted up by Mr. Matt Kopp in the 22 is outside. Mike Harper in the number 4. Row number 8 is going to be Dakota Clark in the 38 is outside. Troy Radford in the 94. Row number 9 is going to be Chris Meffer in the 46 is outside. Jeff Napier in the 40. Row number 10 is going to be Cook Quick in the 54 is outside. It's Ray Radford the 47. Row 11 sees Paul Buzzle in the 9 is outside. That's Hunter Clark in the 18. And next rows on back we will see. Actually, that will be our field tonight. So 22 drivers on the lineup, on the call. We're going to get settled up down here on the track side of things. Unique design track, very unique in style of racing. Two completely different ends of the track to worry about. Two completely different ends of the spectrum to hit up from in the corners. We're about to find out how well these drivers can handle themselves and the nerves here as we hit the lights down on the sunset view. Green flag up in the air. Bring the hammer down and bring the throttle down. Time to go racing here with the next gens. Aaron Smith having to start with a penalty out of the gate. He'll come through the field here, have to be a lap down, but he'll have himself a bit of a hard charge as he got troubles down with the 83 of Brandon Medford already. Well, whatever problems Aaron Smith was having a minute ago, looks like he got away with that one because Mr. 83, Brandon Medford, lost it in the corner there off of turn number 2, and unfortunately, one car down already. They do not have any fast repairs, and that is a huge mistake from a driver that generally is not one to make mistakes out here. Here's the PTM replay presented by Track Time Entertainment here, folks. Now, without a doubt, this is a big mistake here. The 83 overdrives corner 2. You can see the car just kind of strung straight to the right, and all of a sudden, just everything completely went backfiring on him. Huge situation popped up there, and that will bring out our first caution of the day. Wow. And frankly, you would not have expected that as early as this was here. This is something we would not have been expecting, and we really not have been expecting from guys of this caliber, this kind of a racing style. So, honestly, if I had to guess right now, probably a lot of them are trying to kind of ease back a little bit, maybe get the reins cooled off a little more. They got 150 laps they got to work with, so they're going to have a long race ahead of them. And that first little misstep there by Medford may be a sign of things that tell these drivers you cannot be making simple mistakes here. You've got to stay focused. Either way, what a huge break and a tough break there for Brandon. He has definitely been fighting in the points race all season round. He's been trying to fight himself out time and time again here, and yet once again, man, just finds himself in the bad spot. There's not much you can do there, not much you can really have in that position, in that place, but at the end of the day, he'll find it out and figure out how to get around it. Take a look at the points race here right now. Actually, right now as we take a look at it here, and really it's a landslide between first and second. Neil Quick is really ahead of family member Chris Medford by about a 28 difference, 393 to 365. Neil Quick, your leader in that one. Brian McCann with 357, still in the hunt. Charge. Troy Radford 347. Cody Harger with 304. Quick tied with Harger with 304. Aaron Smith 286, a shocker to say the least in my opinion. Brian Rose at 284 and Vincent Short at 273 with Tim Schofield at 266. I say it's a bit of a shocker to me because you would not have expected the reigning defending champion to struggle this bad into the series and this bad on a track really when really he came out last season just kind of started dominating everything. I guess it is kind of just a little reminder that everyone is human, so it doesn't matter who the best and the brightest is out there. We are all in our own little world. We are all on our own little plane. We cannot just get away from the madness and the sanctity that is ahead of us. The truth is, it can bite us at any time, and it can get us when we least expect it. And we're seeing that right there. Brian McCann right now looking to possibly make some aim and take some shots up here, looking to hopefully keep himself in that points hunt. But again, with Neil Quick in that lead spot, he's going to have to find a way around him and try to find a way to kind of take him up a few places here. Guys in the back right now, like the 96 of David Trumley, still rocking the old scheme that Bill Elliott used to rock out on the track, just a little bit of a different scheme. We are on an old throwback track, so I mean, this is probably the best place to actually throw those throwback scars on, so. Of course, with this season here, there's a lot really at stake for these drivers. There's a lot going on mentally, physically. They know that they've had either a good season or a bit of a rough season, depending on how one of the drivers looks at it. With many of them hoping and praying to kind of keep in line and in charge with the fields and in with the tracks. It's not easy, though, to win out here on the surface, and not easy to win out here in general at Darlington. This is a place that tests the best of drivers as much as it does pushes them to their farthest potential. Take a look at our track map here tonight. Let's take a look at our race info here. Of course, we are starting to see a little bit of a shade down on the lines here. But take a look at this. This track right here, Darlington Raceway, this is a whole different ball game here, folks. This track is literally shaped like an egg. And turn 1 and 2, you can see very wide, open, wide stretch. Makes for good cornering. But then, what happened at turn 3 and 4? Well, the story behind that is the track promoters and them that made this track, they did not, or the track designers, they did not want to interfere with the pond down there in turn 3 and 4, so they left it alone and let it be, so that way the owner actually can stay and keep his troubles away from that. And that's how actually that whole track actually got formed and designed up like that. They pretty much made it the same, made it a way that it would conform and it would work all right. It's kind of how Martinsville is, you know. That's pretty much the reason why it's a paperclip track is actually because they conformed it to be at the stanchion that all the drivers, or not, excuse me, all the drivers, but all the folks that own that land, you know, with the train tracks there, they'd be able to kind of leave it alone, keep it more in a configured shape. Even though Martinsville Speedway can be a bit of a dangerous track when it comes to how much speed they can carry, it's actually rather safe comparatively to what you may see at tracks like this, which is a mile and a third, and things like this can happen pretty quickly here. All of a sudden, Kyle Pengraff hard off charge and got himself a little bit of problems. Oh, he's got more problems here. Oh, right in that turn number 2. Did not crash out completely. The 14 is still going to be able to get the car to run off, but that is not what he expected there. Just trying to survive on this track might be easier said than done for some of these drivers. Charging back around right now, Aaron Smith here in the number 1, trying to get that old scheme there. You may have seen that scheme quite a bit on the track before. He's still rocking and rolling with it. Trying to find a way around here. Matt Cobb in the 22 right now is a Spartan Logistics Management LLC number 22 machine. Up 3, trying to hold the line. See that look? You see that one lug nut being put to use and being put on the spot. And Smith, you see, actually trying to do the textbook Darlington pass here. Drove it down low, then drove it hard off to get a move on the 22. He couldn't get the speed built up, but has a lot better exit here. Right forces 22 to have to back off and get him some room. And now Cobb looking to try to gain back some advantage here and fight it back up there with Smith as the field continues to march their way around the track. Brian McCann here in the number 3, holding down Neil Quick in the number 2 when it comes to trying to let him by and let him off from this one that easily. You can see just even there's one other big issue here that really, honestly, Darlington kind of gives me grief for and gives me a bit of a headache, but look at the way the corners are on the bottom end of the stretches of the turns. You can see, and you may have noticed down there, there is a much bigger banking area, but then there's a really, really flat spot. There's not a lot of room down there to actually make passes on if you're doing in the corners. That's kind of where that old short track, kind of longer tracks mentality brings into play. This is, of course, a big track. This is a bigger track. It actually was one of the biggest tracks that NASCAR actually raced on for very many years before the introduction of the mile-and-a-halfs like Charlotte Moore Speedway. And then, of course, everything that fell in pursuit with Michigan, the 2-mile-long track, of course, Texas Motor Speedway when it was configured, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. All those tracks were kind of built upon off that mile-and-a-half style configuration that Charlotte Motor Speedway and, of course, when Michigan kind of brought to the table. They were all built around and centered around that idea and that placement, but the one track that stood the test of time, you know, for good or for worse, you know, depending on how you look at it, I say much better because this is one of the most unique tracks to race on. Darlington Raceway has stayed upon with us and is always going to be here to the end of its days. And honestly, it is pretty good that it's still living up to NASCAR's roots as much as Martinsville does. So hopefully, hopefully when all is said and done in due time, we can get more good racing here. We can get some more drivers to race out in Darlington. But there's a lot of folks that don't want to really race this track, at least that we've seen on our broadcast, because number one, it's a very difficult track to race. As you can see right there, number 46, Chris Medford, kind of making it look a little easy coming off 3 and 4. But I'll tell you one thing, that's not an easy way to move around the track. You almost got to kind of shove it right in there with some of these drivers and actually give them a little bit of an old bump and run or a little tag, kind of getting them out of the way. Or just wait for them to make a mistake like that there. Vincent Short Drove it hard into turn 2. He smashes the wall protection a little bit, scrapes some paint, and gets traded around for positions. As now Chris Medford, the second place driver in points, looks to try to gain on the field. We're on board with a man that's a heavy hitter. He's hard charging, 10 up. And you can just see right here, man, this is the way you go off those corners. You have to almost diamond it off to get the most run, get the most speed. The downside is if someone catches you on their inside, they have the runaway. They can make a pass on you pretty easily there. And you can just see that flat banking that really catches a lot of drivers off guard, including myself, when they just get on this track for the first time. It's a very unique blend, a unique style. It's a track really that, honestly, I'm still surprised to this day has not really been in some way kind of reconfigured or been done up. It's a crazy little spot, and it's a crazy little place to race. I have raced Super Late Models here. I've actually raced here on this track before with the truck series on NASCAR Heat as well as Xfinity, but my success kind of came with the trucks when I got a top 5 out of it. I'll tell you one thing though, that race and everything that happened when I raced down there, man, even on iRacing now, that just people got way too aggressive and folks just could not see how to make clear cuts and clear runs, and all I did was kind of stay back and let everyone kind of take themselves out. Well, McCann doesn't exactly play that game. Nice corner pass off turn 3. And then number 3, 2 spots up, and now trying to take down Neil Quick's run in momentum here. He's going to lead a lap and take a few bonus points home. Remember those bonus points and the way they configure into the season championship makes the biggest of differences and makes for the biggest of times here from these drivers, and they know that all too well. Of course, Darlington is home to, of course, the closest finish in all of NASCAR ever on our show, ever in the entire racing industry and landscape. At least that is of live timing anyway. Of course, we're talking about Kirsch Busch, a Ricky Craven finish there that came down on those final corners. But really, I think one thing that kind of gets forgotten about, or really does not get talked about nearly as much, is really that whole battle that led up to that big moment. When the track was pretty much kind of slicking up and there was a huge charge there coming from Kurt Busch, Craven pretty much kind of had to hang on and really fight his way around to hopefully hold Kurt back just enough. And as they were going on, I think it was like the last 5 laps, it was just pure insanity and pure beauty that really any racing fan out there has just got to tip the hat off and nod to it. You can say what you want about Kurt Busch back in that time period. I know there's a lot of folks out there like Jimmy Spencer that had a lot to say about him, but you know, when he came out there and he raced his tail end off out on that track with those guys, I think we were in for something special because he really was there as a young blood with the old guns. But the old guns that night was able to hold him off and hold his charge in by literally the slimmest of margins, by 0.002 of a second. Still to this day, it is the closest finish that ever came from this track and came from Darlington. It is a wild story and it's a wild thing to know about, but yeah, well, I've gone back and watched that full race, and yeah, it was crazy just how much those tires got tore up, how much the cars got beaten, banged a little bit. But really, I think that's kind of the whole point of what really the Southern 500 represents with Darlington. Pace still looming around right now, and Mike Harper and Jeff Napier are in the top 15 at the moment, 12th and 13th for both drivers respectfully. Troy Radford, the 94 here, keeping his distance away from Chris Medford as they're both 10 spots up on the field. Could just be conserving the fuel line, conserving the tires a little bit. I would presume more than anything they're trying to conserve the cars, but then just the way things kind of play out around here, you never can be too sure when things can get a little crazy or when you may get a little bit off track and kind of hit that wall protections. One wrong move, one wrong misstep here, and you could really tear your equipment up, or you can end up doing something like that and just shredding up some paint on the wall protection. A little kiss there from the Darlington wall for Vincent Short, and Aaron Smith will move the chains in now down through turn 1 into turn number 2. He moves up into the 9th, and remember, He started way back in the pack here off the get-go. He was not even really scheduled in where he was at, but he had to pretty much fight his way from there. Brian McCann right now in the number 3 trying to hold back Neil Quick in the 2 as Neil holds his line trying to charge back up. McCann knows that if he lets Neil get any run on him, he may be in trouble here to make another pass off it. Good sportsmanship there by Pengraff as he gets out of the way for the drivers. Pengraff is not clueless. He knows how tough these guys are on the track as much as they are off the track, and this is certainly one of the toughest places to stay clear of and stay out of trouble with for a variety of reasons. You're seeing it right now here as they continue on. Neil trying to make a move off on Brian McCann. Brian looking for any kind of opening he can get here. Neil looking to maybe make the slingshot maneuver work off of turns 1 and 2. We've seen it before where if you can time it just right, you can kind of get a good jump on him. It's not a whole lot of ways to pass on this track. Really, the only place I would say that's feasibly passable is the front and back stretches. Forget about the turns. That's all I've said before. It's just forget about the turns. Build the run in the turns. Catch them on the turns and just get to the stretches and then time it just right to where you can swing it inside and force them to really force their hand in that corner. That's the only way I've seen anyone be successful here on this track. David E. Brown right now in the number 7, kind of closing in on Mr. 14 of Kyle Pengraff. David, not having the overall best of seasons, if you will, but he's had a pretty decent season, I will say. Really kind of finds himself in a bit of a rut, though, here tonight as he continues to fire it down. He is moving positions up, though. He's in the top 10, certainly 7th in the 7. So who knows, maybe the black and green wrecking machine is actually just saving himself up and saving his time here. Troy Radford, man, what a season he's had out of the get-go. Major win implications, major race implications. His battles that he has been presented with and even taking a huge chunk out of Bristol Motor Speedway really just, to me, exemplifies and impresses me more than anything to how fast this guy has been driving and how much better he's become just over the course of this season alone. I talked to them earlier today. He says, I'm not really sure if it's the next gen Cup car or if it's something kind of just getting out of that truck series, but everything just kind of seems to be more in rhythm. I'm seemingly more in time with myself. I'm tuned in. I'm ready to go. I don't feel so off-put. I don't feel so out of it, is what he pretty much kind of alluded to me there. As he read down him on the back straightaway here, Tim Schofield holding down for, well, not anymore. Radford with a full throttle assault charge. There's the pass, and he is in now 4th. I remember what I said a minute ago there, literally just kind of doing the exact kind of move I was saying you really can only do here at Darlington to really make a clean-cut pass. Radford drove it hard into the back straightaway, and he actually got the nice run off. The 12 of Schofield saw him and backed off. He knew as he was going to enter that corner, there is not enough room for 2 drivers down there. Just ask anybody that tries to fight down there. On board here with the Holler Boys, the Holler in number 15, Vincent Short. He's been kind of quiet as of late here on PTM Racing TV. I'm not really sure what's going on down there. Maybe he's just being a little bit more patient, but I can tell you one thing. Usually this is not the kind of driver that we see from him. Aaron Smith right now down in pit road. We'll see what happens here as he gets to be put back even further in the field. Maybe trying to get a fuel and a tire run going for himself. Bit of an interesting strategy, though, parking in so quickly and so late here, I would say. Brian McCann just kind of doing his own little thing, kind of holding the line down, charging with everything he's got to keep away from the 2 Neil Quick. But you can see right ahead of him, this is where things get really crazy here at Darlington. This is the lap traffic scenario. Trying to fight around these guys is, well, about as easy as really trying to get yourself out of a knot that's really been tied by a Boy Scout. It's probably doable. You can probably figure it out eventually, but really at that point you might as well just cut your ties, cut your losses, and forget about the knot. Just get out of there. Well, they'll manage to get around though the 54 there as he gives them nice little room and breathing room here. Tim Schofield and Chris Medford have themselves a little bit of a battle here as Chris Medford takes a nice pass off of Schofield. We'll take a look at the PTM instant replay. Here's how the pass was done here. You can see Schofield, just that slight little tap on the wall there, slowed him down just enough. And you can see right here, Medford, watch that dive bomb entry down through turn 3. Schofield sees him coming, has to back off, slider from the bottom, straight to the top. Beautiful run, nicely done. And Medford showing you why he is a force to be reckoned with here on PTM Racing TV. Schofield falling back even further in the field. He was starting 7th. He went up to 5th, 4th down. He's down into the 6th line. Cody Harger in the 66. You saw him battling earlier on with Brian McCann, Neil Quick, and even Schofield a little bit. He was holding down for 3rd. Now he's currently going as far as low as 4th at the moment. But Chris Medford with a hard charge coming right at him. We'll take a look at our lap times here, and you can see the distance between these two travelers. They are certainly one of different scenarios. Medford getting a much better corner and corner runoff here. It's giving him all she's got, and then some, really taking him for all it's worth. 2/10 that time by, really making the difference up. Let's take a look at Brian McCann and Neil Quick, and this could be a bit of an interesting little storyline on its own here. You can see the 32 got about 7,000s. Where Neil would pull that one back a little bit, then got him lost again, the F34, and then since then, it's now been McCann's to lose. The plus is the gain for McCann. The rest is falling on for them as there's problems down there for the 94. The 94 gets a little bit hard into the wall protection, comes to a dead stop. We'll take a look at the PTM instant replay, see what happened here. Something going wrong in through turn number 2 here. Looked like everything was okay here, and then you realize swung it way too hard in and just kind of lost it in the corner. See him having to put that thing in reverse, get out of the way, and get it put back on the track. I tell you guys, this track right now is taking some drivers, and they're taking their souls, and they're not even realizing what's going on down there until it's too little too late. Chris Medford literally charged up even further while we were under commercial break there, from where we were under the replay zone for a minute. Well, you want to talk about a hard charge? This man started 17th. He's in 3rd right now. I mean, I know Quick and McCann are pretty fast right now, but I'm not going to lie to you, folks. I think we might have to keep our eye on Chris Medford tonight. This guy seems to have something dialed up here, and he seems to be holding his line in more as they go. Only down to so many drivers right now because this track just keeps eating them away. Cook Quick, been a lap down already. He's going to get thrown another one down, unfortunately. There's not much he can do here, especially now with Medford, the speed he's gaining here. Best lap time so far currently is a solid 29.13. And that 29.13 was given by Tim Schofield in the 12. But since then hasn't quite been in the same predicament. Oh boy. And it looks like there's problems down there for the 4, as unfortunately Mike Harper has kind of parked it right in front of the barrels here. Not sure if he just had a trouble getting into pit road or if he actually lost control there. We'll take a look at the replay. And for those at home asking, okay, can't you get a run there if you got a flatter surface on the bottom? Well, maybe if you're driving an Indy car, but definitely not when you're driving a Cup car. And even then, I wouldn't even try with an Indy car. You can see there, man. Yeah, he just kind of overdrove it into the corner off turn 3, and he didn't have enough time to kind of regroup and recenter it there in turn 4. Had to take a little bit of that damage from that front nose, and unfortunately, kind of slow him back down a bit. Chris Wall at the number 5 right now. Oh, and as soon as I say anything about him, he's already smacking the wall protection. There's a reoccurring joke we've got going on, at least I have anyway, that if I try to talk about Wally and talk good things about him or even bring him up in the broadcast, something always seems to happen or go wrong, and it seems like it's always falling back on me. Now, granted, I know it's not technically, but I mean, there is still the elusive issue of my broadcaster curse I made a joke before about. You can never be too sure when it pops up, and you can never be too sure when it comes out, and that is certainly the case here. Well, Brian McCann right now, he had a bit of a solid lead on Neil Quick, but as we are approaching closer and closer to the point of caution for the stage breaks, you can see Quick isn't exactly giving McCann a lot of room away from him here. Pedgraph having to go back down to the bottom here, try to stay out of troublesome zone and stay out of the way. Neil doing everything he can right now to try to get up there with him and try to defend his points lead off. A second place finish though here will kind of help his cause. This entire season so far, Neil has been dead set, dead focused on controlling his own narrative, controlling his own destiny. He does not want anybody to just simply hand it to him or give him a chance at pretty much kind of walking away with the big one if someone wrecks out and just kind of costs themselves. He's more focused on the ideals of the old racing of the point series system days, which is you've raced your most consistent, you raced your hardest out there, and you made everything work from start to finish each race. And that was how you became a champion. David E. Brown right now still up 2 spots, moving back into the 6th place position, trying to hold on to that with Tim Schofield, maybe looking for the top 5, if you will. Definitely being awfully patient down there, not doing too many crazy things, kind of doing a little bit more of a controlled state. Not a whole lot of battles going on the track, and even look at this, Aaron Smith actually now, he's going to get put a lap down in a minute. Hold on a minute, I was going to say he's going to be, but I was about to say that's one thing I don't necessarily say. We get put 2 laps down, that's not exactly a sentence I put into context, but McCann does finally go into pit road, so does Neil Quick. And Chris Mefford, that old MFer, he is going to be staying on out. And no, I did not say a bad line on television. No, that's just his last name, kind of nicknamed a little bit. The old MFerd. Coming off a turn 2, though, you can see I don't know where he's getting this kind of run from. He's got serious charge on that hood or something. He's had his fast time was a 29.22. His last time around a 30.97. And Cody Harger, he was literally a 31.03. Whereas a 31.27 for Tim Schofield. That just gives you an idea of how much control and consistency Mefford had on the track as he finally goes into pit road. Maybe trying to get ahead of the curve here and trying to make sure McCann and Quick don't get too far ahead of him here. You got to build up. You got a lot of run down on the track. That does make a difference, and that can change the pace and dictate the driver's control of how they run off this place. Harker right now, the number 66 is your race leader here. All for a fleeting moment, though, because Tim Schofield's going to pit road. Brian McCann back out on the track. Harker eventually will have to go into pit road and decide his fate and decide the timing right here. But as we take a look at our pit stop stall right now, this is how everyone played it out. Look at the lap distance and gain here. You can see, and right now, 53 laps nearly for Harger, and Schofield was their main set. Looking at McCann's right now, he's going for a 1/3 of the way their kind of strategy instead of what Harger and them are doing. Not a bad idea by McCann, obviously, because he's trying to focus on the legitimacy and the logistics of what his strategy will play out to be and what he can be able to bring to the table. That is certainly a good idea and a good ideal here to work around. But again, how long can that work and how long will it work before eventually something kind of pops up to where it changes them out completely? McCann takes back the race lead now, and Neil Quick still about 8 seconds behind. You would not think that, but it looks like maybe a fuel line of Neil Quick actually was what he focused on more there than anything. I don't think it had anything to do with the tire set he chose on, because once you get in that track side, usually generally those pit stop crew guys can get you in and out as soon as possible pretty well here. Troy Radford right now currently sitting 16th. Farther back into the field here as Radford looks to try to make a big smooth shoot out here on Quick. He's got the run, he's got the momentum, and gets a good pass off Neil Quick. And I guarantee you, Neil's not too thrilled right now with that little situation, that little circumstance. Neil doing everything he can to kind of move through the face and move through the fields here. Chris Medford doing much of the same, and I guarantee you Medford might be the scariest of the bunch here to have to work around, because he can really charge this thing up, really give himself a lot to handle on. The number 40 here, Jeff Napier, he started back 15th. He's a hard charger and a half to say the least. He's 18th in starting. He is now 3rd in position. And talk about a guy that literally has just been pretty much on his timing, on his game plan here from the get-go. Unfortunately for him, though, he's going to have a little bit of company following right behind him. And it looks like he'll actually pit it into pit road, so it looks like that'll kind of change up the game plan a little bit here in his case. Not too sure what we'll bring out in the time zone or what he'll bring out to the table here, but field will work their way around, and Cody Harger now maybe looking to come back at Chris Medford here, making one last little ditch effort to fight him on in. Got a lot of travel though left to go before he can really make or break this run. With so much speed these guys carry and so much control they really bring out on the table, honestly, it's just surprising to me how far off everyone is kind of getting from one another. I do know I'm pretty sure they're still running that 550 horsepower package there on the track. I've been told before, and someone can confirm with me in the iRacing documents before us, but I did not see anything about them adding the extra horsepower that these cars are supposed to have just yet. I don't think they've gotten the true big update we are all waiting for. I still believe they're at the 550 horsepower package, judging by how they come around the corners, how much speed they get, and how much buildup they get around. Again, though, I could be extremely wrong, and I don't even know what the heck I'm talking about, but it just, to me, it does not seem like we have the full speed and control these cars can bring to the table. Because honestly, they'd be a little bit more out of shape, a little more out of control, other than what you saw Brandon Medford go through earlier in turn 2. That'd be like the only telling sign for me that really tells me that that was actually what had happened. 90 laps remain here, and now you can see Harger kind of eking in, kind of creeping up a little bit on Medford here. Medford, I don't know if he's really too appreciative here of Harger kind of putting himself in that position, put him in that run. Oh, and a little tag there by Medford, unfortunately gets Harger into the wall. Gosh, the flag is out here for the 66, unfortunately, and that's just like that. Oh! Tim Schofield even taking a piece out of the wall. Save it, bud. Save it. Easy. All right, well, at least he didn't smack the wall down there, but unfortunately, same can't. Oh, and Aaron Smith even getting a piece there. Had to try to avoid that one, but Cody Harger, my friends, oh, man. And this just goes to show you how difficult it is even to run side by side. Even with cars and drivers that you know you've raced with so long before, it's just so difficult to kind of do that here. Here's another look at it. We'll take a couple image shots here and just show you kind of what transpired here. But this is what happened. Came out of turn 2. And Medford just slightly taxed the wall. Harger had nowhere to go. And ends up getting kind of toe tapped and smack dab in the center of it all. And that's really a tough break there for Harger, because he was making a great charge up and a lead up to take it up there with Medford. But now that they don't have any, but now they also don't have an instant repair, so they'll have to get in and get that damage fixed up quickly. But the blown motor is smoking out of the car, so he could be in trouble here. This is what happened though. It was just that slight tap in the front. You can see the rear end takes a chunk. And then this car just completely sent for a ride and a half. There was really not much he could do. Wow. And now pit strategy's gone completely the way of the Dodo Bird. Now they're going to have to throw them in there again. Field in pit road right now. Drivers getting cleared up and around. Ryan McCann, no surprise here, will get the faster of the times here. So we'll see what happens as we transpire through the rest of this. Neil Quick come out second, or excuse me, well, second there, but David Tremblay will take over the second place spot. Neil actually passed in by the 96, so we'll have to see how that comes to play out later on, but we'll return. We got more action here at Darlington. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, the official site for iRacing merchandise store, as well as for the iRacing IROC Series, by Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you in large part from the IROC Challenge Series, as well as us here on PTM Racing TV, for your support to these drivers that you see being put on full display and on the show. They certainly couldn't do it without you. They certainly couldn't do it without the fans still tuned in with us right now here on the show as well. Thanks to everyone for tuning in on by. Don Harger says, looks like a block gone wrong. It's hard to say on that one. I mean, from my end, it looked like just a normal run there coming to the end, but I have been very, very wrong before. There's not a whole lot of ways you can get around that position, though. It's just it's a tricky situation. On one hand, you pretty much are trying to drive someone off, and then the other, by getting them in the corner, and then the other, you find yourself on the receiving end of it. Pace cars, lights are turned off now. We are getting ready to bring these guys back to life, back out on the track. Field filing in, filed up to position themselves out. And this time around, we're going to get the green flag drop back on down, hammer down, and run them off of turn number 4. McCann with a huge lead out of the gate. Not a whole lot of drivers left in this field, but those that have stayed with us and still trying to hang in there aren't exactly calling it quits yet. Chris Wally right ahead now up Chris Mefford here. Chris looking to maybe look a run for his money here, trying to take him down around town here. Chris a couple laps down, unfortunately. He's not going to exactly get himself out of this hole he's in at the moment. This is a bit of a predicament to really work his way around. And you get to see too just how many drivers are out and really taken for a ride here. Again, they are having to roll off the normal substance of the actual real world racing style format, while finding with the also ever so tough to beat style of racing that is presented here on Darlington. Neil Crick right now, the number 2, trying to hold back the number 1 of Aaron Smith, as Smith looking to try to recoup his season. Oh no, and as I say that, he might not recoup this one. Big wreck off a turn 2. He slides into the wall and crashes it out. Car appears to be okay, but you can see he took a wild ride there. Caution finally flies on out. And just like that, one of the best drivers in this league and in this series, and the defending champion even, he gets sent to the Shadow Realm by Darlington. Man, this track is truly too tough to tame, and this car is truly something else to tame. But holy smokes, you would not have thought that of all things. Here's another look at it. And it just looks like he just overdrove it. He has the right line. But here's the problem. He didn't let it go far enough to the right. Car was already sliding out a little bit. The good news for him is he didn't really take too much damage there on the right side. The front fender and the front bumper technically took a bit of a wild hit and a bit of a smack dab in there, but unfortunately, definitely not what he wanted to see. Wow. Well, just gonna have to continue on with this one. So right now, everyone trying to pile these things back up, trying to get things kind of taken back through the field here. Hopefully all drivers kind of settle themselves down, settle these tracks up a little bit here. There's still plenty of opportunities to be had and still plenty of ways to get around, but I mean, this is definitely one of those situations, circumstances, they're just going to have to start being more careful about how they hit it. I mean, as a driver right now, I really couldn't even give advice for how to race this right this moment. I would even try to give advice because, like I've said, I haven't raced this place nearly as much as everyone else has probably in this league and in this series. But also, this is just a track that is just mind-boggling to me. I can't explain it. It really is too tough to tame. I think it's too tough to figure out. And it seems like when you do get it figured out, the track itself just says, nope, we're not going to get away with it that easily. The landscape of it, the things that change it up completely, it is so difficult to work around and figure out. But right now, we are pursuing into the next restart zone. You see where Chris Bedford is right now, so this will definitely be a little bit interesting to see what he brings to the table. Brian McCann and Neil Quick have been bad fast all day long. I don't think that needs to be reminded here, but this is a little bit of a situation here that kind of changes things up a bit, because we see Medford and how well he's been handling the track and the corners. He might have something to say to these guys here. Coming up on the stage break moments here. It's coming up on the end of this race. Coming up on the halfway end of this race, I should say. As the green flag drops back on down for Brian McCann. Neil Quick will try to hunt him down while Medford follows in pursuit. And David Tremblay, by the way, now currently setting in fourth. Might have something here. And even Aaron Smith, man, despite his little situation he had coming off turn 2, he's not exactly out of it yet. He's in 5th right now. I honestly would have thought I put him a little bit further back in the field, but no, it did not really in this case. He was able to stay with it. 6th place really kind of separated out by a long shot here, as currently Jeff Napier letting the number 54 Cookwick on by him. Does not want to get into a bit of a situation or circumstance with him. Wants him to race it out and let him do his own thing. Tremblay trying to make a move there on the number 46 as Medford brings it straight down low. You can see a little bit of a timing boggle there. Off of turn 2, that may be a bit of an issue here. He's going to have to resolve a bit. Maybe trying to watch himself too, because you saw earlier him and Harger getting into it really kind of changed up his driving style a little bit. Kind of slowed him up a little bit more than I think he was hoping for. McCann and Quick are the only two that are actually still somewhat in peace and not damaged up anyway. Smith now pushing the momentum towards his favor, towards his way, looking to try to get Tremblay in his sight. Tremblay has not had the best of finishes this season. He's been trying to change that elusive thought process in that situation or two around on the track side of things and really in the racing side of places. Can he get it done now? Because if he's going to do it, he's going to need to figure it out ASAP. You can see even with the defending champion behind him, you can see he doesn't even care. He's just too self-focused right now. Watching his corners, watching his turns, and just staying out of trouble. And to me, as a driver, that is exactly what you have to do in order to outbest everyone else on the field. It's, again, you're just driving with such a tight, compact field of individuals. You're still having to fight it out with some very tough to master kind of drivers. You need to have that kind of momentum, that kind of control to kind of hang in there. And unfortunately though for Tremblay, that wall protection is not exactly going to give him a little break or two. Didn't quite wall ride it off like you would see earlier here, but didn't quite do the same there. He's kind of pushed up there with Smith, and Smith's not exactly leaving his sights, but Smith, to his credit, giving him plenty of space, actually backs off there for him to get by him again. Lost a lot of time off that turn though. He had to do that just so he can avoid the wreck. If that was going to happen, he knew what can go down and go wrong. He literally was just a part of it just a bit ago. Rolling up on the stage break end here. We'll have 3 stages. Remember the points get. That is a bit of a situation in its own right. 6 for first. Third gets a cool 3. And then of course 4 for second, then 2 for the third place finisher out of the first stage. Second stage will get 10, 8, and 6 respectively in their rights. And then of course 40, 38, 36, 34, and 32, and so on and so forth, determined by the 40 drivers that come onto the track. And it can really test even the best of guys and really make them think real quick about what they're doing and what they're up to. That's exactly what they have to do here. As you see, still Neil Quick still right with Brian McCann, looking to maybe make a slingshot maneuver here work on the straightaways. He hasn't found it just yet though. He is certainly holding on for a while. It's got kind of keeping himself in play, keeping him on shot and on track here. Looking to maybe make one big move here, though. You see Neil kind of closing the gap in a little bit. McCann kind of getting an idea of what he's up to here. Slinging it down the inside. Look out. Quick has a run here. He's got a little boost, but he could not get the charge off. You can see McCann defending him out pretty quickly there. Still no driver for all drivers for themselves and no way to get around it. McCann is just defending the outside line as best as he can, trying to drive off as hard as he can, but you can see again Quick with how smart he is. He's hoping and praying he can hit it there. Trying to pick the pace up maybe a little bit here. I think Quick is kind of getting an idea here and a little bit of a situational awareness here. Maybe seeing that he is not exactly in the right state of frame. Maybe not exactly in the right position he was looking for. David Tremblay still having all the fight he wants with Smith. I'm surprised Smith has been able to kind of stick with him as long as he adds all that damage on his car. But at the same time, Tremblay, not a guy usually you see fighting this hard here in position, but tonight I guess it's a different story. He knows he's got a top 5 car and a very fast car. But to be able to pace yourself around and really fight it with these guys time and time again is another statement. Takes a lot more work than just a little bit of run around there. I think even it was one of the Meffords here. They actually literally got on the chat. They actually got on the chats here one of the times here with my one of my broadcasts. Actually asked me like point blank, like, you know, hey, what should we do when the time comes? Should we actually have to go and to get a little wall ride done on the track there? And I kind of joked with him. I said, well, I mean, if that's what you're trying to do, yeah, you go for it. But I mean, I don't know if I would want to try to end up putting myself in a position where it gets a little crazy out there. I guess I did not seem to heed that warning or heed that call at all. They're just letting them do whatever they want. Maybe just at this point looking for the opening when the time comes. Riding around the track here, you can see Cook Quick even starting to make a little bit of a comeback here. He's got up to Jeff Napier, but he is still a lap or two. He's actually 2 laps down at the moment. Not a whole lot he can really do about that. Really not a whole lot he can really get out of that in this case. Being 2 laps down, it's hard enough as it is just trying to get your lead back, trying to get your position back. But much less being 1 lap down is hard. It's a bad spot to be in. It's kind of a bad omen, if you will. Take a look at the best lap times from these drivers here, and again we can see there really has not been a change in position. It's been the one and only Tim Schofield that has held the track up, has been held the cars up in position. Riding right around right now. We're approaching our final 50 laps here. 60 remain. And the field's starting to stretch out a little bit here. Look out for Tim Schofield, the number 12 driver. Looking to get a runoff on the Holla Boys. Number 15 of Vincent Short. Vincent Short, man, I'll tell you what, he certainly is a cat. You gotta be careful of him. You gotta keep your eye on him, no matter where he comes from, no matter where he goes. He does not know come Cotton Eye Joe. Okay, I'll stop. But he's not exactly getting away here from Schofield, even though Schofield quite a few laps down as well. He had to clean up a lot of his car and kind of clean up a lot of the repairs on the track side of things. But you can see even the car is not fully intact. It's still pretty damaged up. Harger, though, well, let's just say he is a whole different story. Just punching laps down on the track, punching the laps on the car, and you can see again just where the damage came from. The turn 2 there, and that's a tough break there for him, man, because he's had some great races on the short track side of things. Even though Darlington isn't exactly a short track, I still kind of consider it a short track because it is only a mile and a third comparatively to what you see on the mile and a half intermediate tracks, as well as the bigger tracks like the 2 mile long Auto Club Speedway in Michigan, which Auto Club, which will pretty much be no more in due time. They will actually be a 1 mile long track after this year. This season they will have one last race, and it just so happens to have these next gen cup cars kind of battle it out. I can't wait to see what happens and what transpires, honestly, because I mean, I got nothing against Auto Club. I actually really liked racing there, and I like having some good battles there with open wheel, but open wheel drivers don't really race there anymore, and even then, that track itself, it to me is just kind of lost its groove, kind of lost its touch because of the fact that we have a lot less horsepower and a lot less momentum to really build around, so that track really kind of has a bit of a change up and a changing that needed to be done. And having it as a mile long track with the bankings they're going to do and how big it's going to be, I think it's going to really make things a lot more interesting and a lot tighter of a track to race with. Brian McCann right now, man, I don't know how the heck he's been able to hold himself online and in play as long as he has, but he's done a great job blocking every little move, every little spot Neil Quick keeps thinking of. And judging by positions, I believe it was McCann, Quick, and Mefford that did take stage break points there, so they will be given the maximum amount of points there. That'll certainly help their cause out a lot and certainly help out their chances here coming to the later half of the season. Whoa, speaking of coming to the later half of their season, Chris Wally, Mike Harper, little tussle or two for the top 10. And Matt Kopp now intervening a little bit here as we were just kind of looking back to the field a little bit. Chris Wally got a little bit too hard off the charge, gets into the wall protection off of turn number 4. And now it's Kopp looking to gain the ground and gain the momentum here, looking to push his limit and push himself to the fullest of extents. Quick behind all of them here. Look, just got right now actually staying on lead lap position here as Harper, Wally, and Kopp are the two battlefronts. Napier early in the 6th place spot. Not the hard start of the night so far. Chris Bedford's kind of got that locked in right now in the 46 still as he continues to really just play the field like a fiddle and just completely dial this thing down a bit. Man, Wally right now, I'm not sure if he's trying to wall bang like he's in a car, like he's in the video game, or if he's just thinking that's a good idea to try it. But I'll tell you one thing, it's not going to exactly work for him all day here. Matt Kopp now looking to came up on him, looking to challenge him for position. Kopp trying to get this thing to roll off, trying to give himself a little bit of breathing room. But you can even see just how tough it is to hold on that line, hold down that car. It will not back off that easily, and you can see even just driving off as hard as he did there, it still slightly drove up enough to where it was going to hit that wall protection. There's just no room for error, and these next-gen cars literally have no room for error to begin with. I'm very curious when we get these things to Darlington what the heck are they going to drive like? Because, we know how tough they are right now. But that's one thing you did not want to see if you're a cop fan. Matt gets it too hard off turn 2, gets sent into the wall. Protection down there, kind of hurts himself and his run here. Take a look at our track time entertainment instant replay. Looked like he just kind of came off way too hard. You can see at least earlier on, everyone was kind of spinning out. He actually just kind of went straight down, backed off quick enough to where he wouldn't lose it in the corner, but that same cannot be said for the damage that he has suffered through there. And right now, I still don't know how, but, well, I don't know, we're not going to be able to say that anymore. Looks like Aaron Smith finally will get a run on Tremblay. Tremblay, though, well, not exactly going to quit out just yet. Smith finally caught Tremblay in a bit of a genjutsu off that corner there and kind of got into his mind, got into his psyche, and just completely reverse engineered him into going into the wall protection when he least expected it. Not saying he intimidated him, I'm just saying he just found himself in a bit of an illusion and he didn't realize where he was at till it was too little too late. But Tremblay, to his credit, not giving out. He is in the top 5 right now, but he doesn't exactly just want to let Smith run away from him here. The black and green wrecking machine, number 7, David E. Brown, really been probably the most conservative and consistent all day long. He started 8th, he's still in 7th. He's not a full lap, he's only a full lap down. The top 5 in the moment here. Jeff Napier currently a little bit of ways away here from everyone else. As Brian McKeon and India Quick have passed him in respectfully here. Well, you can just see the distance between these drivers and the change in the gaps here right now. With under 45 laps remaining, just all depends on who goes from where, who goes from what. Race fans, when we come back, we're going to see the conclusion and the finish here. But which one will it end up being? We'll find out when we return. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC. By R&R Racewear, the official web store for iRacing merchandise sales, as well as for the IROC Challenge Series. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal of your viewing entertainment. By SimSpeedShop.com. By Track Time Entertainment, and by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you in large parts from our folks here at PTM Racing TV, as well as the iRacing IROC Challenge Series for their support and they brought to the table, and of course you fans at home for always tuning on in and really being the best part of all of this that we deal with. Without you guys, this show would not be any fun. Now, I know a lot of folks at home are kind of wondering where we're off to next week here. Well, next week we will see these drivers back at a short track of all things. So I was mentioned earlier that this may be a smaller track on the roster, but next week is a whole different ball game. Martinsville Speedway is back on the list and back on the lineup. We may see some heavy racing there. But if you can't get enough next-gen action, well, stay tuned for tomorrow night as we are going to bring Backfire Sim Racing back on the market and back on the show once again. From the heated conclusion and heated battles down at Daytona, we're going to see some old short track on the mile-long raceway of Rockingham Speedway. That will be next up on the list and on the roster. I cannot wait to call that one. I cannot wait to see what will go down. It all transpires tomorrow night, starting at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, here on PTM Racing TV Facebook. And then, if you just can't get enough racing action, well, Sunday night, I've got a treat for you. Joe Six back at Atlanta with the next gens, and then we'll bring the next video out for Pedal to Metal for Nashville Super Speedway. And then the Infield Tractor Tire Super Series is coming out with some dirt racing. And of course, next week is going to be a full-on rocketed list once again. UMP Modifieds at Bristol Dirt for Pushing Limits for Richmond. You're going to get the Green Mountain Girls Truck Series, and then we're going to see Auto Club Speedway and the championship hunt for the Champion Power Equipment Fast Fun Series. Thompson Speedway will be the lineup for the Misfits Racing League and their SLM continuation. Of course, then Friday next week, Martinsville Speedway will be on the roster, and then Auto Club Speedway will be up for Backfire Sim Racing, as I mentioned earlier about them. So the caution does fly on out, though, for your final stage break of the day. Under the night skies here in Darlington, South Carolina right now, Brian McCann, Neil Quick, and Chris Mefford will get the most amount of points and the most positions here in their take. Now for McCann, he needs all the points he can get because he knows this season may still be under wraps and maybe still be on the circuit, but there is not a whole lot of races that is left on his resume he can get a handful on. Because on June 2nd, that will be the last race of the season. And of course, where else? Auto Club Speedway. That will be a bit of a timing get, a bit of a change up in position, and really make things a lot harder for these drivers out here. That's going to be an interesting timing strategy here for pit road because honestly, at the moment, the way you look at this, Neil Quick is going to need a good, solid pit stop. He's going to need to try to get out of there quick enough compared to McCann. You can see the right side's being put on almost immediately over McCann here, and Neil Quick trying to get that left side set on quickly. McCann's going to get out of there. Can Neil go? No, he's going to be just a little bit short. Looked like he was going for a fuel run there. Chris Mefford, though, interestingly enough, almost getting McCann out of there. Almost gave McCann the can to whoop you know what. The field is set in motion. They're preparing to go back at it again. Kind of cleaning up their mess, kind of cleaning themselves up of a position or two. Hoping for the best. Drivers are paring down right now, just trying to settle back up a little bit, getting hopefully ready for what's about to transpire there. Double filed up with the restart zone. We're going to get these guys back on track, back onto the positions here. Anybody's guess really still who can finish this last one up. All that matters is you do not want to lose out on this. This is the biggest moment. This is their final stage. hard off turn number 4. You hear the roar. These things just come straight to life. Here they come now. We're green flag racing. You needed a wake-up call. That certainly was one way to do it. Real quick right now, far back, a little bit behind Medford right now, as currently Brian McCann tries to escape away from everyone and stay away from all the drivers on the track here. I guarantee you more than anything right now, he does not want anything to do with this field and do with anybody that's behind him. His only mindset and goal is to finish this in the top spot. Kind of punching his way ahead right now. Aaron Smith coming up onto the field here. And now at last he's going to have himself a bit of a run around here. Aaron has been either consistent or he's been all over the place off that turn 2 wall. As you can see, he managed to escape it a lot quicker than Quick did, and Quick lost a lot of time just tapping that thing. Once gravity kind of takes over, it slows your momentum down, slows your entire pacing around the field, and that's exactly what happened there. No driver is safe, and nobody is getting away from this one that easily. I talked earlier about Brian McCann and Chris Medford, these two fast guys, and Medford the one you kind of had to watch out for in this race. I do stand by my comments there, and I stand by what I said, because again, he's in second place right now, and he's only got about 31 laps left. I mean, if anything, come to that final 10 laps, we may see him full throttle, assault it up there, and try to charge in with McCann. It's one thing to have a good distance on the field, but it's another to be able to hold them off and hold them around. Looks like Neil Quick managing to keep the one at bay. You can see him literally not phasing 1 inch there as they were coming down on the back straightaway. Aaron was the one that flinches here. Neil right now needs to stay in that top half bracket to continue his point dominance and his point leading system. Kyle Bengraff right now currently in 12th here with Jeff Napier and the number 40 piling right behind him. The 6th place driver trying to just kind of keep himself in cool. Trying to avoid trouble and trying to avoid problematic situations here. Rest of the field kind of separated out by a bit of a margin or error too. Not a whole lot of drivers really left in this field and in this hunt. David Trumbley just barely ahead here as he currently moves it in closer and closer to David E. Brown, who is right up ahead of him in 7th. Could be another lap down scenario popping up for him. Cody Harger heading back in the pit road here. Unfortunately, looks like he's just having way too many problems. The motor does not want to seem to be working with him, and of course with that car, the badly damaged as it is, certainly is not helping his cause any. Moving in pretty close right now. Neil Quick kind of in a bit of a bad spot, out of a bad omen there. Trying to hold Smith down, but you can see Quick is not exactly running away here from the defending champion. But now they've actually, with a little bit of luck, a little bit of work, they've come closer. Heading up on Medford here. Medford is now getting kind of patrolled and attacked here on the side of things. It could be anybody's guess who gets the better of them. coming in right now. Looks like it's going to be Quick and Smith battling it hard here for the third place position, while Chris Mefford hangs on to the backbone of second. Brian McCann, though, is still your race leader. I mean, really, how much can you do and how far can you go before that car just cannot take it anymore, can really get himself into troublesome territory? That really remains to be seen. Mefford seems to be backing off a little bit in those corners, trying to avoid trouble here. Quick looking to maybe make a move on the inside. Looks like he's going to get it here a little bit. Puts the front right corner panel into that left rear corner there just for a fleeting moment. Mefford looked like he was going to lose positions. Coming around town. Now it's a close fight, a close battle between these three drivers. This is your battle for second. McCann has got to be loving every minute of this. But I guarantee you, he does not like the fact that Quick is still within range of taking that second place spot over, even though the playoff side of things could really dictate and maintain the pace here when they get to it. That doesn't necessarily mean they want to have anything to do with it now. Quick. Hard running off the back end there, coming right to the corner. And Mefford opened the door up and takes it away. Smith now looking to take this one away from him as well. Looks like Mefford's run might be coming to a swift and solid end. Or is it? He gets a charge off there from Smith. Makes a ditch effort, asks to move it in, now keeping it blocking. Mefford and Smith blocking each other out a little bit. Either driver could make or break their machine here and make a charge up for the run here at the end. Smith is back into the wall protection there. Nothing he can do about that. So much chaotic madness and situations just pulling through and through and through. How on earth can they get to this one to the end? And you can even see David E. Brown now kind of coming to the field. Some possible opportunities, getting a little bit closer to the end here. A little bit of a head scratch there. Mefford getting into the wall there through turn 3. You can see now Smith looking for any kind of opening he can get, trying to make a pass or two off it. Neither driver giving an inch. They have fought, scratched, and clawed as long as they have for this entire race. This may not have been the prettiest race. This may not have been the craziest race that these guys have done. But nevertheless, these guys still came out here. They raced their tail ends off. They did everything they possibly could just to survive, conquer, and bring the threshold out on the track. Taking a look through the field, though, Brian McCann just pretty much all but walking away and running away from this entire field. The track may be known as Too Tough to Tame, but for McCann, I don't think he had anything to worry about it. That car has not touched the wall once. That car is still the same look it was when it came off the track earlier this day, earlier in the afternoon, to now the nighttime. It has not broken down. Quick getting further and further ahead of Chris Mefford and Aaron Smith as those two continue to battle out. Every driver for themselves here, and I don't blame them whatsoever for that. But I mean, again, if you're Chris Mefford, you're thinking to yourself, my career on this track is really dictating my points race right now. I gotta stay in this hunt. He's looking to keep third place locked up, get the most amount of points he can get for how his season has been, how his race has been. The good news is, though, is that he did have a points lead he led earlier, so leading some laps down there certainly helped his case here. Right around town right now here, Medford still holding back, holding down Smith. You can see the rest of the field, Harper, Short, Brown, Napier, Trumbulley. They've all kind of done their own little thing, kind of hanged in between where they needed to. Even Dakota Clark. Haven't got to talk much about him today, unfortunately, but the 23 still in top 15 category. Matt Cobb, Cody Harger both out at this point. Doug Wysocki, Schofield, Radford, Clark, Mefford, Brandon Mefford, Ray Radford, and Paul Boozle sadly really could not continue on with this race tonight. Could not get onto the track here to really put up a number. And that really has been kind of the overall circumstance and situation that's been wheeling for these guys. It's a darn shame, and it's a tough break there for him to have to go through that and really kind of be put in that spot, but that is kind of the whole point of racing sometimes. Walls being put to good use, banging up and around, and that's how they go. Kyle Pendraft now in the way of Aaron Smith. Oh, he's more than just in the way. He's really kind of getting out more trouble there for its worth. That might have been a big help there from Medford. I don't think he realized where Smith was at and where he was wanting to go. I think he was trying to stay up topside, let him go to the bottom to pass him, and instead he kind of swung it around. Smith unable to get it around him quick enough. 10 laps to go. Now he's got to put this thing in full charge mode to get around back up to Medford. And as I say that too, it looks like Medford might be closing quick in. Remember what I said earlier about that 10 laps left to go? Before you see some of these guys really push them a little bit harder? I think we're seeing that right now. Medford is getting time here. Look at this. Here's a lap counter here from this last lap. That's a 10th of a gain there. That's a big gain. And that could be the ever-elusive change that he was looking for. Yeah, quick. You can see, though, he's not blinded by that. He's not blinded by the fact that he's right behind him. He's just going to stay focused and continue running his line. Forget about the rest and hope for the best. And then, of course, if you're Brian McCann, 6.5 seconds ahead of the field and not having to worry about nothing, I think you've done something right here on the track tonight. I don't think we need to make an argument on that here. I think he's pretty much known that he's locked and loaded this thing up to where he wanted to be. Medford gaining ground on quick. He's trying to get everything he can back on him. When Smith got kind of taken for a little bit of a ride there between him and the number 14, Kyle Pengraff, it all of a sudden kind of leewayed and changed up the game plan and strategy way more than I think they wanted it to be. Six laps left to go. McCann, Quick, all separated out by a good margin of error. 6.5 plus from McCann to Quick, and then Quick and Medford. Only a mere 7/10 of a second. But it looks like Neal is actually starting to find a little bit of a grip there where Medford was trying to catch him. Smith way back behind the field, losing Medford and Quick here. And that's all because of that little scenario that he got put into with Kyle Pengraff. And again, it really it's one of those situations where it's just literally anything can happen and anything can go down. As a driver, you never know like what the other guy is wanting to do until you actually get to that point, get to that situation, unless team communication really being worked in. And these guys do not have that in this case. They're driving on their own. They're driving with the best of intentions and best of drivers. Obviously, there is an iRacing chat there they can really work with and talk with, and they do use that from time to time with the guys, but doesn't necessarily mean it makes the biggest difference overall. Quick now, literally about only a half a second ahead of Mefford. If Mefford catches him, you know Mefford will throw a huge dive bomb down at him to make the pass. McCann so far ahead at this point. The only thing that'll stop him is an act of God and a miracle. Or maybe your will racing lords here at Darlington may catch him. You never know. He's been avoiding them all day long. I mean, there could be a chance he's avoiding them now. McCann's just so darn dominating this one, man. 2 to go. We got only green flag high in the air. We'll have the white flag out next time by. And Neil Quick getting another run off on Chris Mefford here. That might have all but sealed his fate. Send it down through corners number 3 and 4. And see a number 3 flying on by. White flag high in the air. You know, for a driver that really has had a season championship on his name and as player before, he may be a few points out of it right now position-wise, but this race certainly can dictate and maintain his game plan, his strategy. This could be a big opening for him and his crew. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian McCann is going to win here at Darlington. Second will go to Neil Quick in the number 2. Chris Mefford coming across the line in 3rd, and Smith will go 4th. For Brian McCann, though, this was a satisfying victory in a satisfying way to push his luck and push his name in the game. 150 laps later, and he's literally, I'm not kidding you, he's the only car out of that track that did not suffer any damage, that did not suffer any kind of configuration or problems. He literally just from start to finish locked this one up without any doubt and without any troubles. Great stuff here from the number 3 driver. And it looks like he's going to do a bit of a kind of a short celebration on them burnouts. So here's how our top 10 drivers came out today. McCann with the win. Second going to Neil Quick. Third to Chris Mefford as he gives old Nagin a little love tap there. Aaron Smith 4th. 5th to David Tremblay. 6th to Jeff Napier. 7th to David E. Brown. 8th to Vincent Short. 9th to Mike Harper. 10th to Cook Quick. Rounds out the top 10. Out of our 22 drivers that made it into this field here, literally only so many actually even survived out here for as long as they did. We'll take it and talk it here with our top 3 guys at the moment. Let's listen in here as Chris Mefford will be the first one on the list here. We'll listen in with him and his crew, and we'll see what he thought about this one here. He joins me now, though, in the number 46. Chris, congratulations on a 3rd place finish here today and night, as well as Darlington. Earlier on, man, family member Brandon just caught himself in the wrong place at the wrong time and literally catch himself off turn 2. And then from there, you kind of held the Mefford Monarch on from there, didn't you?
Yeah, these cars here, they was a totally different kind of animal. The cars would slide, then they grab grip, slide, and grab grip, slide. It's just, you really had to be bees on that throttle.
You really had to use your throttle, had to kind of keep yourself under control, and really, with all said and done, it seemed like you guys really kind of watched your tempo and your timing How difficult, though, was it to really kind of keep an eye on when the rest of the field get a little bit crazy or a little bit of an antic in there, too?
I don't know if as much of the field was the track, tracking the cars. You'd figure, on fresh tires, you can go in there and lay down a lap, but these things were just so loose in my eyes, and it was just pretty hard to hang on to.
Certainly was indeed, but yeah, at least for the most part, you're able to hang on for a top 3 tonight. So, as you come away third here in Darlington, I have to ask you, who do you want to thank you for this one?
Thank you guys for the broadcast, Spartan Logistics for sponsoring the series, and then also for the cool little shirt we got. I got in the mail. Chris, Wally, and Pentagraph for putting up with us. I know it's not the best. Congrats, Brian, on racing us yesterday. Nobody had nothing for him tonight. And Neil for a good run. I do want to apologize to Cody Harger and Neil. I got Ty off too, and I got the wall just a little bit, and then the boys had a run and just kind of got in the back of me and it ruined Harger's night. But shout out to all my Falcon Motorsports teammates. I know they didn't have the best finish, but I said these cars are just a different animal.
They are a different animal, but you managed to at least tame them somewhat here on the track. That is too tough to tame. Medford, congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Medford here in the number 46. As we'll now take it down here with your second place driver and really the guy that's keeping a hold of that points lead, the points getter. It is the number 2, Neil Quick, second tonight here at Darlington. Congratulations, Neil, on that. But, right, really at the last couple laps there, you and Medford and Smith had pretty much a battle and a half there. I mean, talk me through that final battle because it seemed like that was really where everything changed to get you in that second place spot.
Yeah, right before that stage break, I got the wall coming off before, and we went into pit. I had some little bit damage to fix, and Chris got me out on the pit road, and I put him in front of me on that restart. He got out in front of me, and he got a little bit loose. I got in the back of him, and then the next lap, I tagged the wall and made it interesting from that point on. I mean, the car was really, really tight, but we had a little bit of a war there back and forth, and definitely knew that was coming. So, like racing Chris and stuff like that. But I put this one on myself tonight. I screwed up on that right before that caution and put myself in that situation.
Yeah, and it kind of cost you a little bit of time, but I mean, at the end of the day, you still had to put up a fight, put on a show here for you and your crew, obviously, to kind of hang with these guys. So I'll ask you kind of this here: what was kind of one major obstacle you faced here when you got to that last bit? Because it seemed like more than anything, it was just trying to stay off the wall for most guys, but for you, it looked like it was just trying to get around some guys as well.
Yeah, of course Chris was going to give it everything that he could to keep me back there, and unfortunately Brian got checked out on us there. I really would have liked to just talking to Brian a few minutes ago. I just really would have liked to went head to head with Brian there because I think I had something for him there after doing the stage 2, following behind him and setting him up and knowing what I needed to do. I just unfortunately put myself in a situation that I was battling with Aaron and Chris and used up my equipment. This place is easy to do that, and uh, fresh car won the night. I mean, Brian had the best car at the end of the night and ran good all night. Congratulations to him.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Neil, still got to give you a pat on the back here and a little love to you. So who do you want to thank you for your second place finish?
You guys doing the broadcast do a great job with it. The guys that run the league, Chris, Kyle, all the sponsors, Spartan, Track Time, R&R, Sim Speed Shop, family for letting me do this, and the guys we race with. I mean, it's something we look forward to every Thursday, and we'll be back at it next week.
Well, we certainly enjoyed it from start to finish here, Neil. Congratulations on that second place finish. And as your points race continues on, we'll see how the rest of the season goes.
Thank you.
Neil Quick, ladies and gentlemen, the number 2. And to finish all this off tonight, might as well give a little love to the boy in the 3. Brian McCann wins it all here at Darlington. And Brian, congratulations on that race win. You truly showed that this track may be tough to tame, but you certainly figured a way to tame it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a fun race there. A lot of battling with Neil there on that stage 2, and I was getting a little worried, but I was able to hold him off.
You were able to hold him off, kind of keep yourself in line and gain check. And I'm going to ask this real quick. You have all the guys out here that race their tail ends off just trying to catch you and trying to get around you. How the heck did you not get any damage on that car, get in somewhat a little bit of a goulash with that wall protection? You literally somehow found a way, compared to everybody else, to stay out of trouble and literally keep it in one piece. How the heck did you do that?
Oh, it was close a few times. There was a few clinching moments, but tomorrow I'm running the 24-hour Daytona, and this is the mindset I've been trying to get into all week: is keep the car clean, keep the car clean. So that's what I was trying to do tonight, and it worked out.
It worked out perfectly here, and now I'm going to ask you this, my friend. You're taking another win here, and a lot of points here to go away with it. So who do you want to thank you for this one finish tonight?
Yeah, my family, wife, everybody watching, you guys for doing broadcast, all our sponsors that make this event happen. Thank you.
For sure there. All right, Brian. Congratulations here on your race win here, sir, and we're going to catch you next time out here on Pizza Race TV. Brian McCann, ladies and gentlemen, your winner here tonight in the number 3. And race fans, that'll all but do it. Next week, we are in Martinsville Speedway, so stay tuned for that as the Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming TV, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and 5-Star Graphics iRacing IROC Challenge Series will come to you live down there. We'll see you then for the show. But for now, here on Pizza Race TV, thanks so much for tuning in, choosing to take us with your Thursday night. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Backfire Sim Racing heads down to old Rockingham Speedway. We'll see you guys there. Thanks for tuning in, though, here on Pizza Racing TV.